I've been moving and I haven't had time to make any tutorial videos, but I wanted to make a video pretty quickly on the subject that's in the title of this one. And it's going to be about if Melee can survive with all the recent controversies, especially given that the player base was kind of reducing even beforehand. I think the answer is definitely yes. We've had a lot less players before. It will not help to talk about, oh, the game is dead and stuff. I think the best thing that we can do is just move through stuff, keep advertising, and, kind of try to distance ourselves from the people that made these controversies possible, even if they're not directly the reason for it. So, not to excuse, for example, any of Mango's recent I was going to call them allegations, but it's pretty clearly cut and dry that he sexually harassed a bunch of women, so that's whack. Definitely need to have some punitive action taken against him, but we should also distance ourselves from the characters that made it possible, right? So, as much good as Ludwig has done for Smash, I think he's kind of moved past it into being like more of just generally Twitch famous, and maybe need to distance ourselves a bit from him if he's inviting, a known alcoholic to, like, this rager that he's having. Pretty dumb. So, probably going to want to distance ourselves from that. It's also, I think, important to distance ourselves from the people that ostracize Hacks to the point that he felt like he needed to commit suicide. That should go without saying, but, it's the Melee community, so I guess we have to say it so that people will understand. Those two things, I think, are really big. We don't want to have to, we want to move on past this stuff, but we also don't want it to be non-genuine. No one has really, truly taken responsibility for the way that Hack's situation was handled, and I don't think people are putting enough blame on the outside factors that caused Mango to even be put into a situation where he had the opportunity to do that, right? So ultimately, Hax was an adult man and Mango is an adult man and they make their own choices, so they're responsible for those choices, but we should still probably try to not associate with people who enabled those choices or caused them, right? Then on top of that, doesn't exactly help that our current greatest player in the world he's got really, really, really bad optics among people who do not play the game. And I'm not going to comment any personal opinions. I'm just going to say that that's a fact. And if you deny that fact, you're living outside of reality, right? So people who, they watch, for example, the Technicals video on Hacks, where it talks about Cody, or they just see clips of this guy streaming. He's just unpopular among the general fan sort of base of the game, the people who care a little bit more about personality than skill. And to segue from that into not so much complaining, but instead to just give some suggestions on how we can improve the lifespan of the game and maybe get some more newer people into it. I think one important thing is we really need to get a text chat and a friends list into Slippi so that people don't have to immerse themselves in these terrible Discord communities if they don't want to kind of have the ability to network in the scene. It should be more just like, hey, look, you can add people and then you can send them messages on Slippi if you want to, right? And maybe if you're concerned about people getting harassed online because you're a really sensitive person, you could maybe make it so that you have to get added back to the friends list before you could text message them, and you could even include an option to where, just as it says chat has been disabled, if someone disables the chat, maybe they could disable receiving friend requests at all, so that they don't even get bothered by the friend request itself. I think that that's a really good suggestion. I think it's necessary to grow the game, because if I were starting out now and I found out that my game only had pre-recorded messages, I think I would quit pretty quickly because I would be like, oh, well, I'm never going to be able to find friends to play this game with. And you might say, well, those people, they can just join this Discord, right? But then they got to deal with Discord and Discord moderators, and they may just not even know that that's an option in the first place and just quit. And the amount of people who probably have done that when they find out that they're basically alone, kind of in their own box when they play Slippi online, is definitely non-zero. So that's the first thing we need, is to add a text chat and a friends list. And then I think the second thing we need is we need to focus a little bit more on having more people like Squid the Cat, for example, where they're more popular for their personality and their ability to make entertaining videos than they are for their ability to just be a winner, right? The way it is in Smash right now is you're only valued really as a content creator based on your skill, unless you're really lucky or you have a really, really, really great personality. But I think we need to just kind of pivot more into that, you know, make the game more fun to get into, because I think we've lost a lot of that spirit. Like, one of the reasons I started playing is just because you could do cool stuff in the game, and I think we've kind of stopped valuing that, stopped highlighting it, and we're also just seen as way too sensitive by basically everyone who doesn't already play the game. So having an open text chat would really help, and a not overly moderated one. Remember, you know, they're just words online, so they can't really hurt you. And as long as you have a way to block people and stop you from hearing them, I really don't see why we can't have it. So let me know your thoughts on this. A little bit of a rant, not much of a tutorial, but just some ideas. And thought maybe it might help get the ball rolling, or just let the majority of people who I know already agree with me, just let them know that, like, hey, I'm here with you. Everyone agrees with us. It's just not the big names yet. So we'll get there, and Melee's not going to die. Everything's going to be fine.